Hello there everybody, Oymon here, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide. So I said I wanted to do like smaller, shorter little games I can maybe do in, either one episode or maybe just like a week or so. Because I've done a lot of really big games recently, like games that have taken me like months. Like, I recently finished with Mass Effect Andromeda. That was a game I was playing for, I think I ended up doing 22 sessions on that. So 2 sessions a week, that's 11 weeks. That's almost 3 months I was playing that game. And whilst I have no problem playing bigger, longer games, because I've also recently started playing Crosscode, which is also going to be another big, long game, of course, I don't want that to be all I do, just playing really big, huge, like RPGs and stuff like that. I have no problem doing that, I just don't want that to be all I do. Because one of the other things I want to do, of course, on my channel is I want to play games I've never played before. And this is one of them. Now, I know like tiny little snippets of this. I know that this is a game that was made by the creator of the Stanley Parable, I think. Unless I'm completely misremembering that or thinking of the wrong game. But I'm pretty sure this was made by the guy who made the Stanley Parable. Now, the Stanley Parable is a game I have played and I absolutely fucking love. Which just actually remind me, wasn't there supposed to be like an updated version of that game coming out? I don't even remember. But, yeah, so, Stanley Parable, really, really, really good, fun, solid game. Like, it's an example of a walking simulator, which I'm assuming this is also going to be, that completely destroys your conceptions of what a walking simulator type game is. Like, even compared to some of the best ones like Tacoma, the Stanley Parable is just a totally different genre of gaming. It is literally a meta game. There are games that play with meta-ness, but Stanley Parable is a game that is just meta in its every individual cell, Now, I don't know how much or how little of the Stanley Parable exists in this game. I actually don't know that much about it. I know that it is also very well received. I know that people have played it, like a lot of people did play it, but I never watched any of them because I always knew I wanted to play it. So I've actually managed to stay pretty blind to this. I don't know what it's about. I've seen like pictures. That's about it. And the pictures make no sense in context anyway, so it's not really going to help, is it? Anyway, so yeah, I just really wanted to play something a bit different. This one's been on my list for a while. It was like, fuck it, let's get round to this. So let's get started. And we'll see where we end up, hopefully, possibly. Because I have no idea what to expect. I'm assuming the beginner's guide to life, perhaps? Make sure audio is most definitely on, hopefully. Is it? Yes, it is. WSD and mouse, yes. Makes sense.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the beginner's guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable. And while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them, and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Ooh. Okay, this is not what I was expecting. That was a very lengthy sort of introduction there, but okay, so we're seeing games made by someone called Coda, who may or may not actually exist. For all we know, it's a narrative device. Maybe it's a real person. Maybe the guy who made this game is just making that up to have like a framework. That's interesting. Okay, so we're playing prototype games made by a... I don't really want to say wannabe game developer, because he clearly could have been one if he actually chose to be. Like, he had the drive there. But I guess a potential game developer. I think potential is probably a better word to use. Okay.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift to structure imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Yes, it's a first-person shooter, apparently. Right. Alright. Woohoo! Oh, I appear to have run out.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Oh dear. I'm totally out of ammo here.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Oh.
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
I've noticed.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I don't know. It's always fun to think of a game on what it could have
I
been.
love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh yeah, so you can. That's nice. And the sky box is quite literal in this one. I mean, it looks very nice as long as you don't look down. The picture is very detailed, so it's got a good flow to it in that sense. Not that. Okay. Huh. So this, oh.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
No, no, I want to play the labyrinth.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Damn straight. I will say, it's one of those tropes you see in a lot, and I do mean a lot of indie games, is we're out of ideas, make a fucking maze. You see it in so many indie games, and I always sort of cringe inside when you see that. Because it's clearly someone who, like, okay, they were making a game, and they needed an idea for something. You know, they needed to fill a chunk of a level, and their only idea was, let's make a maze.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Do I have a choice? Can I not? Apparently I don't have a choice.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
Oh, well, there we go. Nope. And you're dead.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay. Ooh. Play the moon theme. Ooh. Pretty.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. November 08. Ooh. The past was behind her. Well, I can't. Oh, no, there we go.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Huh. Okay, that's quite clever. Oh, I like that. Like, as a concept, that's actually really neat. That's a really good idea. Oh.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Oh, I could totally see this being like, you know, you get those game jam games where people take a single concept. Like the one I always think of is the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam, where they will typically give the creator a specific thing, like a rule that they must obey. Like I think in one of the ones it was buttons. I think the latest one it was like linked together or something like that. I forget specifically what it was. If you go look up Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam, you can find them. They've done it for the last 3 years. It's become a very big game jam actually. But I could totally like this could be like something that someone could do if the thing was backwards or maybe blind or something like that. You could easily see this being a game like that. And I like this. This is really good. Like, this is a unique concept. I don't think I've seen a game like that. When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Ooh. Okay, well we can move. That's a start. There is actually, this is a sort of random QI fact, but there is a group of people. I want to say somewhere in South America. I'm probably completely misremembering that. It was some tribe or something or other that believe that the future is behind you and the past is in front of you, because it's based on the idea, well, you can see the past. You can look into the past, but you can't see the future. The future is behind you. It's unknown. So maybe he's heard of that, assuming this was indeed an actual person. So, I mean, it's certainly a different way of looking at things. As we think of the future, oh, the future is ahead of us. We look forward to the future, you know, and the past is behind you because, you know, you've already gone past it. You're walking forward into the future. But they're like, no, you're sliding backwards into the future. It's behind you. You don't see it until you pass that moment. Okay, so in this one, we're apparently on a very straight road. You are now entering Slippy Slidyville, apparently. Oop.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. You are now entering. Is this like a Monty Python thing?
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
It's in every direction. Ooh.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to check anyway. I know these are technically incomplete games, so odds are there's not going to be anything, but... Honestly, I kind of wish more games would deal with the abstract like this. Like, you don't get enough games that just put you in an abstract location and say, good fucking luck. Like, you could easily have, like, a proper survival game in just a completely abstract environment. You know, where things don't necessarily have to make sense. But there are still rules within that world that you have to follow. It's like they don't make sense as far as normality is concerned, but they do make sense.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
And what if I don't want to? What if I want to keep crawling up like this? I can do it. I've got a very, very long time. Actually, I don't know how long this game is. According to the internet, it's about 1.5 to 2 hours, so I should easily be able to do it in a session today. I have no problem doing this, for the record. Seriously, I could keep doing this. I'm just holding W. Nothing to me. I've got a cup of tea. I've got all afternoon. Because, I mean, if you look at it, every, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, we're going up a step. There's only X number of steps. Let's see. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, damn it, they're moving too much. I can't really tell. So we've got about 30 steps. We're going up 1 every 4 seconds. 30 times 4 is 120. That's 2 minutes. So it's only going to take me 2 minutes to get up here. No problem. I wonder if it'll actually say something if you do that. You see, any of these could easily be, as I say, used as like maybe a game jam game idea. I do wonder if maybe people have been inspired by shit like this. It's sort of interesting sort of when you look at it in the sense that, you know, these are just random ideas thrown at the wall. You know, he threw something at the wall just to see what it was, and then he moved on to his next project. And it's like, in a way, this is probably what a lot of game creators actually do. They will test something. You know, they will try a system, and usually first they'll try it in isolation. If it works well there, then they'll try it as part of whatever big game it is they're working on. But for indie developers, often having an idea and then running with that idea is usually like the crux of game creation. Because like that's at the core of game creation, is that you have a thought, you have an idea, you have like an image you want to see made, and then you make it. And then obviously you have to sort of make compromises for, you know, ease of use, or maybe the idea isn't quite sound graphically or something like that. There's a lot of things you could potentially do in that regard. So yeah, I mean, experimentation is a big part of creation in general. You know, it's not exactly a surprise, but hey, we're up. See? Told you it wouldn't take long. God, I'm actually going slower now I'm on the flat ground. It's an orange thing. I'm wondering if we're going to speed up at some point, but probably not. Right, so it's a room. Stand on the next what the hell? That's one room until you realize you can walk through the walls. You are a gate. Press U
a
to
room
surrender.
That's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Oh, so it's like the uphill struggle to get ideas?
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
I can understand that. Okay, let's not bother with that. It was fine as it went. Ready, set, fish.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay. So we've got...
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Hang on a second, that's not the first time I've seen 3 dots. I saw the same 3 dots on that spaceship. They don't forget the puzzle solution, apparently.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Whoa. What the fuck? So I can't leave the room, but...
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same. is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Maybe you don't have one. Not everything has purpose. You are now exiting.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay. The Great and Lovely Descent. Ooh, I just had weird flashbacks to Cairo. That's an abstract puzzle game. It's pretty decent, actually. It's quite old
Let's
now.
talk about
It's like
video
10
game
years old.
development for a second.
Must we?
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Yes.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
That's true. Source engine.
The
is very
tools
good for
available
that.
to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Source is the engine that Half-Life was made in, the first Half-Life. The Descent. Abstract. I'm going to take a wild punt and say it probably doesn't even matter if I do miss and fall or whatever. Nice and gentle there. Oh, there is something down there. YOLO! There was just a floor. I thought it was like an endless void. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Oh, that can't. Oh, hello. Wait, is this like a prison? Oh, it is.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Okay, now that is actually a very interesting argument because, there are games that have things like that. I think one of the earliest indie examples was probably Braid, where, like, completing the game, collecting, finishing all the levels, collecting all of the jigsaw pieces, all that stuff, that all works perfectly fine. And you can do that in a few hours, maybe a few more if you're not sure what you're doing or you don't look up a guide or something. And that makes a lot of sense. But then you've got the secret stars, which, for the record, I've never collected all of them, mostly because I never cared. Now, the secret stars do not do anything to, like, the best of everyone's knowledge. Even if you get all of them, there's no, like, super secret ending or anything like that. So they're just a collectible, like, super secrets squirreled away somewhere for the intrepid game, cracker, people who really get their teeth into video games. The easiest one to get is, it takes 4 hours. Because you have to go to the end of the level, standing on a cloud at the top, which is moving imperceptibly slowly. And it will slowly move back across the other side of the level until you can grab the star above the star. It takes 4 hours. I think it was 4 hours. It may have actually been less than that. And another one, actually, by the same guy, Jonathan Blow, I think his name is, by the same guy. One of the secrets in that is you have to sit and listen to a video for an hour and a half as this eclipse or this moon tracks across this video screen. It's complicated. The Witness is a puzzle game I both love and hate in equal measure. I love it, but I also hate it. I could so many video essays about The Witness. Anyway, the point is, people will often... It is something definitely done more by indie developers versus, say, AAAs, because a AAA developer will want people to play the game. Whereas an indie developer, not really so fussed, but even in those two games, it was definitely relegated to optional secrets. There is nothing that takes that long to actually complete the game. But it does raise a question of, well, if that's how the game developer wanted it to be, should we argue with that? Like, should we be allowed to say, I don't want this to take 6 hours to do? Because it also comes down to a thing of, like, timers in video games, where you have, like, games that maybe want to force you into a purchase, so they put some arbitrary timer on something. Like, that's obviously a bit blatant because they're asking you for money in exchange for getting rid of the timer, but even so. So you're at a pub, and you went down some stairs through a bunch of abstract stuff, and then you got locked in a prison for an hour. So is this like a metaphor of alcoholism? There's those 3 dots again. What is up with these 3 dots? I keep seeing them all over the place, and now I'm worried I may have missed one at some point, because I didn't think to look for them.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
It's a decent
There's still
puzzle.
no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay. Oh, hello there, Cole. Just randomly clicked on the stream. What's up? Well, I'm playing the Beginner's Guide, which is a bit weird if you've never played it before. It's basically... Okay, the creator of this game has taken a bunch of unfinished, never meant to be released games made by his friend Coda, and release them as like a package thing, as I think an example, like a sort of a look into games design. And we're sort of looking at like the abstractness, the meta-ness of it. Oh, you played this game before, have you? Okay, in that case I don't need to explain it to you. I have not. This is my first time playing this game, so I'm very much enjoying the experience at the moment. It's quite good. But yeah, certainly a lot of stuff is very open to interpretation. And what the hell? Hello. Ooh, it's a fire. Listen. Oh, speak. You there?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an orderly prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Well, all of them are technically true. There was a prison I spent hours in. That's the world above. You've been there. This is important. Did you have to go through the puzzle? Yes, I did. It was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having the puzzle. Yes, I did. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. You solved it. Someone else let me in. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can. I can tell you. Why can't my character? I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Just maybe you don't want to go over there. I don't remember. Must think harder, please. Try to remember. It's so important to get out of here. I must escape this prison. Can you think harder? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Well, it doesn't look like I can. No, can't get up there. I did wonder if this was supposed to be like a metaphor for alcoholism, because like you start in a pub and then like you're drunk, so you drop down through this abstractness and then you end up in prison for a bit. And I thought this was going to be like, these are your tribunal kind of thing, like, you know, are you fit to be released again? But they seem to want to get out into the real world as well, so maybe not. Oh, you three again, huh? Oh, you're a bit more casual now. Hello, how did you get there? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? Oh no, we find the blank space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Oh, do you care? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Okay. Don't think too hard about it. We'll see it again soon. Will I? Oh, good.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh, good. Very different from the beginner's guide, but I personally appreciate this game more. Do you mean the Stanley Parable? Hey, and it's the light from the intro.
It's a lamppost.
Yes.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Is it like searching for the light or something? I could see that. I played a game called Candleman where you're after a giant lighthouse. God, I haven't played that game in years. You meant the Stanley... Yeah, I figured you meant the Stanley Parable. Don't worry about it. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Okay. All notes you see are left by other players. Oh dear, this could be a problem. I hope they're vetted in some way. Nice room not. Okay.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but
This
this
game.
game is not connected to the
Yeah,
internet.
I did
All
wonder
of the
that.
notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever
Ooh,
played.
that's a lot
This
of
was
dots.
shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
I mean, it is an element of that, isn't it? They say that, like, you know, artists put a piece of themselves in everything they create, and, you know, video gaming, it is an art form, regardless of what some people might otherwise say. But, yeah. Okay, that's no problem. So, yeah, I can understand that, but yeah, putting yourself quite so literally into a game like this, where you're just like typing in random shit, I can see that. Probably don't spend my entire time. I am wondering, because this is looking quite big. Probably there are places I can't get to. I hope so, otherwise this is going to take a long time. The weird thing is, as someone who's played Dark Souls, these kind of notes are exactly what you would expect to find if this thing really was connected to the internet. Just random people saying random shit over and over and over again. I know Dark Souls is limited in the words you can use, but even so, same applies. People just posting jump here next to an endless bloody pit. People do that kind of shit all the time. If you notice this notice, you will notice this notice is not worth noticing. There's a lot of these things. We probably don't have to see all of them. I could. Not sure if I want to. How come some of them are off the floor? I am wondering if this is going to end with either A, the guy revealing that Coda was never real, or B, revealing that Coda is dead. And like this is his tribute to a game developer that never was, or something like that. I don't know, maybe that's just a bit morbid, but...
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here, to step back and connect the pieces together, to grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
How do you leave notes? Really? Ooh. 1,000 monkeys sitting at 1,000 typewriters. Are you there? Please say something. Could be anything. You think you can talk to me, please? Why you have so much trouble talking? Speak, 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 speak. May to June 09. Porn stars
Okay,
died
this one is
too.
tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. Ooh. Birdie. Alright, we have the one there. A well. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Let's go find out. Ooh. I played games like Layers of Fear. I know how to wander down a corridor. Oh.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Furniture ought to go in the center of the room. TV, surround sound, refrigerator. Put a giant hole in the ground. TV! That's not a TV. It's on the wall of the room. 10 stoves lined up along the wall. Huge picture of a horse. Is this going to be a thing if it doesn't matter what I... Yeah, okay. It doesn't matter what I pick. You're building your own prison. That your choices don't matter. Your prison will be built for you. We should light this room up a bit. Skylight. Live Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah. Just a light. I've got a table. Tables were invented in 1935. I don't think that's true. What is this if not a table?
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm weird for weirdness' sake.
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Must I? I guess I must. I've been able to escape any prison environment. Follow instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Okay. First, click on the table. Ooh. Good. Go to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. See, there's these 3 dots again. What the fuck? Is this like his calling card? Turn the floor lamp in this room off and then back on again. Left side sofa, move it over a little. Touch the shelves. See, room return to this type, taken back to your prison. Good.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Hold a picture for that, man.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
How do you know it's a prison game then? I mean, in a way, that's sort of an emphasis on iteration and like design and how things can be tweaked and changed over and over and over again. You know, using the same assets until you finally settle on one that works. I'm starting to get this feeling that I don't think Coda is real, that this isn't real, because yes, it's real using assets from previous games, but that feels kind of... I don't know. Hello. Oh, hello. Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yes, I was in the furniture maze.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. You could be reading something in there that maybe isn't there. Like, how do we know this isn't just a guy constantly iterating on a game idea? And, you know, ultimately just not getting anywhere with it. I was in the furniture maze, I was in the reverse prison. Furniture maze. That's where I am right now. So glad to know that I get out eventually. What's it like to escape? I'm already forgetting what being in prison was like. It's strange. In a way, I kind of miss the prison. Feels like completely still. Bodily emotion at the same time. Really? How long has it been since you got out? Years. Like, I've been standing right here, working up the note to call you only a few minutes, but somehow it's already kind of fuzzy. This is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget? Promise it's not as bad right now as you think. You don't ever forget it, you just stop identifying with it. You think you can seem infinite when you're drenched in it. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first one to put back. Yes, I did. Sure, why not? What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? They always disappear, they asked me how I felt to be imprisoned. They just talked to me for a while. What? That freed you? How does that work? Can't know until you're out, but I promise you it works. It will make sense. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I'll be here as long as you need me. Okay, I will say, as someone who's been through therapy in my life, this sounds like therapy. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is guy, like, doing self-help, like self-therapy, through the medium of making video games. Like, if this ends up with, and Coda turns out was really depressed the whole time and he ended up committing suicide, I might not be surprised considering where this is going. Because if each game ends up with him trying to find the light, you know, the lamppost, maybe that's what it is. I don't know, I could be reading too much into it.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
August. Okay.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Ooh, snowy.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Oh, the doors on either side, I see. So now he's filled the transitional space with a door. It's a house. Spilt drink, an unlit fireplace. This, I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Oh! I might not have been cleaning the entire house myself. Miserable right now. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. What about me? A place this nice will be better.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games.
I was going to mention
including
that.
this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
So it was taking longer and making more refined pieces. Fair enough. As you home makes home loners. Now you just might be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no. When you start cleaning and then decide whether you can do it all night. I'll finish up here. And could you please clear the table? Much nicer, that's the table I want to see. Now would you please run to the bedroom and make the bed? So are we suddenly a homeowner or something? Maybe that went straight in the rug a bit. All the little details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house mess. Well, I don't enjoy it as much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel a kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul can just be soothed away, it seems, which I guess is about all that matters. Oh, that and a tidy couch. Drink, I did notice that. Look about it, Jenny, could have achieved an insight with you, is that okay? Make it especially cheesy. No, it was stupid. Sorry, never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed, why don't you come and do that? Let's check the tub need to clean. Just put it down as best you can. Their books scattered over the floor in the bedroom. Perfect. How about you come and clear those dishes off
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
These chores ever end? Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever what you do, you absolutely got to own it, otherwise it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier when I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. If you take care of it, it takes care of you. I don't know why I felt so weird saying things like that. There's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this, must we? Okay, books. Pillows over the couch are
I'm
real
glad he
nice.
made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Up a bit. Can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch. Question.
But,
enjoy
of
this.
course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
I guess. Okay, well listen, it's just gone 4. So we'll pause, take a quick break. I'm kind of curious how many chapters there are in this game, because we're on chapter 10 apparently. But I mean, he said it was between, what was it, 08 and 11? So, yeah, 2008 and 2011. So, you know, we're already in August 09, so we shouldn't be too much longer to go through it. It is interesting, I will say, like, it's I don't know if the video games directly represent what was going through Coda's head at the time. Like, you could easily put that interpretation into so much stuff. It's not necessarily true, although I do understand where the guy is coming from with this. We'll see. We'll see where it goes, because at the moment I have no idea. Anyway, back in a minute, guys. And we're back. Alright, let's see where this goes. Right. And there's the light again.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
You thought?
This one gets a bit goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. Bitch, I'm already perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know so well about the person that make you feel disgusting with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy. It is so
About
easy.
halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
What the fuck? Being perfect is effortless.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh, can I? That's nice. Okay, so is that supposed to be a literal black hole, or is that just like a representation of all the people like looking down on us from above? If it's being perfect, this is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you, it's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. I'm assuming I can't choose the other ones. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking's not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself, trying to find the right solutions to your life, you're not doing it right. I'm actually kind of curious. I don't see the 3 dots anywhere. Maybe they're not in every level? Seeking out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path? You have developing a cyst gross. Lovely. Haha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy out of this? There is no truth, there is no path. Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true. That's not good advice. Just in general. Nothing. No, one. Everyone run, run!
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Would have been cool if the chairs at the back started getting sucked up into the black hole, but it probably wasn't supposed to be a real one. Oh hey, it's that picture again.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Okay. Stage. Oh dear. I do happen to note that this looks an awful lot like the prison setup he had originally. Oh hey, it's the thing from the picture. Hello? Fuck. Who's the beginning of places, please? Oh dear. The scene you will be playing is me. We are gathering of professionals. First you'll start out leaning against the wall. Stay right there. Moving across the room, Miss Chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. If you want a chance to learn something from her to gain something to succeed, go on, say something to her. Hello? Hello? Is that it? Is that a conversation? To actually converse with her, be a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. I like you. Here are my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need to feel better in the setting, other people around us. I give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent people nearby. Now talk to her again. Happy, wise, successful, focused. Nothing on top. You have to work really hard to get here, but you learn to lean into the pain. You have to work really hard to get here. You're messing it all up again. You freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. I realize how important this was for me. I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Woo. Almost makes it look like a face. Add some bright ass glare. Well, I'm off. Yes, now this is working.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. Oh, we're barreling through it now. Morbius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Do I actually have to do that? Oh, what's going on, Captain? What can we do? Help, I'm blind. I can't see anything. What's going on? My eyes are not being closed for this because that would kind of defeat the point. Yes. Oh wait, the SS Whisperer. What's going on? Oh, that's... Oh, hello. It's the door! Ah.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Tell me how to fix this. The only way to stop it is to speak to someone that is honest. Right. Blind, blind. Blind, blind. Blind. There's those dots again. But you are honest. Right, okay, so I've got to go talk to him, have I? Work is always fun. No, that isn't truthful. Ah. Right, I think I see where this is going. Can I keep making these? Yes, that's it. That's the truth. Out of ideas.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
You know, I have just remembered, coda is an actual word.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Because coda is like, kind of like an epilogue, but more somber. Hello? Ooh. Anyone there? Okay. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. Well, what's wrong? You look lost. Completely ideas when I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? The machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. There's a machine that kept going and it stopped? Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why I stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I actually pressed 3 on that last one. I did not say deal. Alright, is this going to be the door puzzle again?
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Why can I try to create a feel empty? Oh, this is all the stuff I've said. These are just words on some walls. It's literally, it's the choices I've made. So thinking doing is simple and joyous and that you'll love it 100% of the time. But it's not. And I speak from my own multiple failed attempts. Okay, making games is simple. That feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. In my games I feel completely energized, constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. It's easy and it never stops being easy. Lying to yourself is not the answer.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
What do we say about my work? Right.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Machine. Ooh. I'm glad to see you arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quiet. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Right. Ooh.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work has kept us healthy. There's people out there. Can you imagine what pain you've put them through? Simply because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How can we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Ugh, Bubba Deck. Can you imagine the pain you put them through? Right, so I'm assuming the machine obviously is a representation of Coda himself. In the games, you're kind of you're also playing Coda looking for himself, I think. And the idea is like he feels trapped by this prison. The prison that I think is ironically maybe game making itself he felt like was a prison because he was doing something he didn't really enjoy. Because it sort of, you know, it went from being fun to being a job, basically, maybe? Here's what needs to happen. You need to go out there, unite the people out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. No, nothing. Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. I'll apologize to the people on your behalf. Huh. My friends. Force on me to deliver bad news. I have a troubling revelation. She will not apologize. She refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. She will not apologize to us. It's not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let's just show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we'll destroy everything that the machine has created. Ooh. Ah, we're back on the stage again. Ooh. I feel like
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Yes. Oh. Okay, that's actually a really cool effect.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Probably not, I'll be honest with you. Ooh, I fell out.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands that you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I sense a butt coming up. Put down your weapon. I'm not doing anything. Oop.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling.
Didn't feel that way to him.
So happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Just because that's what you need doesn't mean that's what other people need.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower. And to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Alright, what's this gonna be?
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Okay. Huh.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
Maybe it's his way.
I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Maybe it's his way of asking you to stop. It's like, please stop trying to help me. $15, $16, $17. So, I mean, if you're a private person and something that is presumably very dear and deep to you suddenly started being shared around, it might be that you feel betrayed by the person in question. Maybe that's what this is supposed to represent.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though, that was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed that.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Maybe
it was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Maybe it's not
But he
about
stopped
you.
and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
It's not about
Or did
you.
I screw up?
Yes, you did screw up. I think you did. I think you tried to push a person who shouldn't have been pushed. This is why of him basically saying, go away. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Yeah, you pushed him more and more and more to make more and more games, and you turned his hobby something he did because he was bored, something he did because he, just wanted to fuck around in game makers, and you turned it into something that he felt should have been more than that. You kept saying, hey, you could make something out of this, and he never wanted to. He never wanted to make something out of it. It was always just something done for fun because you had done the same thing, but you had made something of it. And I don't know what Coda may or may not have been doing in his life aside from all this. Obviously the information is pretty light on the ground, so presumably he has a job, he has a career, he has done other things other than just make these few games, and it's that's clearly not what he wanted to do with his life. That for him, game making was just something to pass the time. It was just a little side thing. Never meant to be anything more. Just something he did for fun, to relax. And, clearly the games, like the prison games, are like a representative of him feeling suddenly trapped in this world in which he has found himself. Because, he's made a few games. Suddenly there's this games creator guy, friend, has forced himself upon him, and suddenly he's having to make video games just for this guy because the guy really wants him to make games, and he's judging everything, and then right at the end he says, oh, you're clearly not enjoying your game making. Look, I'll prove to you that you're good at this stuff. And then he showed the stuff publicly, which the guy clearly never wanted to happen. Especially seeing as a lot of those games are somewhat personal in nature. In fact, I would be willing to bet that some of those games were probably directed straightly at Davey here. And he missed the fucking point. Because he was too busy enjoying the fucking game. Which, I want to point out, that is assuming this is all real. I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't actually happen. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
What times do you think I'm making these games for you? You've so infected my personal space.
The people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You've so infected my personal space that it's possible to begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. So I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would that make you happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games, stop adding lampposts to them? Wait, he added the lampposts? Or is that in the sense that, like, he wanted the games to have an ending, so he gave the lamppost, he put the lamppost at the end of the games to say, here is the end of the game, to give the games an ending, to give the games a meaning.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. less than nothing. What does that mean?
You realize how much you fucked up. But you simply let them be what they are. When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. I desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Yes! 100 fucking %. Realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling. It is worth pointing out, this guy has made an entire video game based on this guy's work that he specifically doesn't want to be made public. And now thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of people around the world have, you know, played it.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
When you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me?
Yes.
Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
It's not about you. And is this the part where you tell us none of this was real?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
It's not a disease as such. It's a need for validation. Everyone has it on some level. And sometimes some people can't get validation in their own life, so they try to go to other people's lives to help them get validation, and then that helps to validate their life. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, door's over there. The thing is, I've heard this exact story before. Not in the specifics, but the overall idea. Someone I know once did something to another friend of ours. It completely broke their relationship. And ever since then, that person has tried to get in contact with the other person to apologize. And they're constantly saying to me, you know, I feel so bad that I did this thing, but I just want to talk to them and I want to apologize to them. And I said to them one point, do you want to apologize for them? Or, you know, do you want to apologize to them because you want them to feel better over what happened? Or do you want to apologize to them so that you can feel better about what happened? You know, they've moved on. They don't want to revisit that part of their lives again. You need to do the same shit, and if you can't, that's your problem to fix. They are not there to help you feel better about your life. You know, it's a thing. It does happen. Sometimes you can so irreparably damage a friendship that it can never be repaired. But as humans, we don't want that. We want to be able to fix things because we're the kind of animals that actually like to fix things. We want to feel like things can be fixed, but they can't always be fixed. Some things are just broken. You can't change the past. You can't rewind the clock. Sometimes you just have to accept the consequences. You have to accept the pain, and you have to accept that that is going to be a part of you forever. You have to do that. Because if you can't, if you go through, day after day, constantly thinking about this bad thing you did, it's going to destroy you. And, as I said, I don't know if I've ever screwed up a relationship. Actually, no, that's not true. I have screwed up a relationship like that, but I've moved on. This is the thing. It did torture me for a long time, and I felt so bad about it, but eventually, probably in part due to the therapy I've had in my life, I eventually managed to just realize, well, I fucked that up. I was an asshole. I was an absolute fucking moron of the highest order. I just haven't looked back. I have accepted the mistake and I have moved on with my life. I do think about it occasionally, but it doesn't feel the same way. I don't think about it as in this thing, oh, it's such a bad thing. It was like, fuck, that was really fucking stupid. I was such an idiot. It's more about accepting the wrongness I took in that, And it is a thing that's really hard to do, to accept your mistakes, because everybody likes to think they're perfect. I mean, fuck, I made a joke about that earlier in the fucking session, but yeah, still, it is a thing of, sometimes it's not about you. Or sometimes you're trying to make it about someone else, but it's about you. Like this guy wants the apology. He wants to have the apology from this guy that he hurt, not really because he wants the guy to feel better. He wants the guilt to go away. And it's not going to. Like I said, assuming this is all real, I'm not 100% convinced it is real. It could just be a story. But sometimes you have to accept that guilt ain't going anywhere. And you are going to have to live with it forever. Until the day you die, basically. You have to accept the guilt for the bad shit you've done. And there's nothing you can do about it. Not all apologies will be accepted. Not all forgiveness will be given. It's not a nice fact, but it's real. You have to learn to live with it. You have to. There's no other choice. Alright. What have we got?
Solution.
Ooh, pretty. Sorry, that was a bit more
I
you know.
guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Yeah. It's entirely possible. What is this, the Spencer Mansion? Feels like it.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
You're not a bad person, just misguided. There are very few people in the world who are outright just bad people. Sometimes good people can do bad things.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be?
And surely that's for you to work out.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
I don't know. We're coming up on 5 o'clock, but there's no point in breaking now.
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Is this going to end up back in that original source level? Probably. Yeah, so, admittedly that went a little heavier than I usually like to be. I usually like to keep things light and fluffy on this channel, but I guess this is just that kind of game, huh? Keep going up out of curiosity, or does it? No, it stopped. Okay. I'm just curious. Oh hey, we're back at the train station again. Or a train station. It's... like, as I say, I'm not 100% convinced this was even real. Like, it could just be a story, but it is a relatable story, so I won't hold it... okay. I won't hold it too much against that. Whether it's real or not, I suppose, in and of itself, isn't really what's important. I'd be curious, I guess, but need to know. So, yeah, I mean, I as I say, I talked at length just before I got on the train, but like, the need for validation for some people can be so fucking overwhelming. Everyone has it, you know. I like being told I've done a good job in something, but I don't think it's something that drives me. Am I gonna? Yep, up we go. Ooh, darkness. Ooh, that's one hell of a fucking maze. Is it a moral maze, perhaps? Ooh, trippy. You see, that would make a great screensaver. Not screensaver, a desktop background. You probably get dizzy every time you looked at it.
Turn back.
For R?
Turn back from this cave.
The guy's name was Coda. Unless Coda was his last name.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
Okay. So no actual confirmation on whether it was real or not.
Cave goes for miles
I didn't know.
and miles and miles.
Good voice. Well done. Hopefully this won't get me a copyright strike.
So tired.
It sounds like it's just made for this game, so hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that was interesting.
So turn back.
Like, you know, even the title, A Beginner's Guide, I think I sort of see what that is about now. You know, a beginner's guide. I mean, I can think of multiple reasons why it might be called that. You know, a beginner's guide to this guy's life, a beginner's guide to so many aspects of things. Hmm. 17 chapters, huh? Well, okay, yeah, I did say this game wasn't quite as long, and that was kind of the point. I wanted to play shorter games. So there you have it. That was A Beginner's Guide. Kind of wish I'd played that back in the day, to be perfectly honest, you know, back when this game was a little more relevant. But honestly, I think a message like that, always relevant. Like, you know, the idea that sometimes you can fuck up, but don't ask for forgiveness. I'm curious. If this was based on a true story, I wonder if the two ever did get in contact again. Probably not, all things considered. Like, I mean, if I was Coda in this situation, this would probably just piss me off even more. You know, I'd be rolling my eyes thinking, fuck, this guy didn't learn a goddamn thing. But, as I said, I don't know, there's something about it just had that minor feeling of unreality to me. Maybe that's just me. Or maybe it's because we're playing it in video game form or something like that. But there are just elements where I'm like, Like, I feel like the guy reused assets perhaps a bit too much. That is a thing that happens in video games, but I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not 100% convinced it's real, is all I'm saying. I mean, if there's any actual evidence behind whether or not it's real or not, then by all means, you know, do let me know. But I mean, as I said, though, regardless of whether the story is real or not, I think the message is very important. Because, like, obviously in the story, Davy is a guy who, like, forced himself upon this guy who, you know, maybe wanted some measure of friendship, but wasn't really into it. Like, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure in that level with all the little pop-up text things, the guy actually says, you know, maybe I came on a bit too strong, a bit too forceful, but we did strike up a friendship. So, you know, right from the off, Coda was perhaps a reluctant friend, like an extrovert befriending an introvert, like that meme you get online. But, yeah, and then, like, you know, the extrovert took things too far, you know, Davey took things too far, sort of slowly soured the relationship because Davy didn't realize what he was doing. He thought he was doing the right thing, whereas he was doing the right thing as far as he was concerned, not as far as Cody was concerned. So, yeah, it's a thing of like, I understand this. I understand the points. As I said, a couple of friends who've had this broken relationship. And the thing is, I'm still friends with both of them, and it does occasionally create awkwardness. But I don't talk about one of them to either of the other one. They know I'm still friends with both, and they kind of just accept that, because I was like, well, you two fell out. I don't see why I should break off my friendship with either of you two here, you know, because you know, it is a thing of, I'm friends with both of you. I don't see why our friendship would end just because yours has. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong in that situation. Maybe I was being selfish. But I'm still friends with both of them. That hasn't ended. It's just their relationship did, you know? So it's complicated. Relationships are an insanely complicated thing. I mean, I'm relatively an introvert. I don't get out much. At least not in the real world. You know, I'm definitely a lot more comfortable online. You've probably noticed. I know, someone streaming on the internet is an introvert. You're fucking gobsmacked. I know it. So yeah, here's the thing. So I definitely understand the story. I totally get the story. And, you know, even as I was playing through these games, I was seeing quite early on, I think, about... I can't remember if I actually mentioned it, but it was probably in the back of my mind, that... you know, clearly these guys' relationship was souring, and it was kind of being shown through this game. I mean, if it was real, and, you know, I know Coda will never see this, but to Coda, don't think you have to forgive him, because you don't have to forgive him. For in your case, you do not have to accept his apology. You don't have to accept anything. Because you told him not to do something several times, and he just kept doing it anyway, to the point where he completely shattered your relationship. You know, Coda has nothing to apologize for in this particular thing. And to Davy, move on with your fucking life before this kills you. As I said, if it's real, that would be my message. You know, to Coda... just, you know, keep doing whatever the hell you're doing, man. You've probably got your life sorted. You probably didn't need something like this dropping on your doorstep, but don't worry about it. And to Davy, move the fuck on with your life. Accept this guilt. And accept it ain't going away anytime soon. Because otherwise, it will literally drive you mad. You know? That's really what it is. So anyway... this got a little heavier than I expected today. I honestly didn't know quite where we were going. I will say it is quite different compared to, the Stanley Parable, because Stanley Parable is very, it's tongue-in-cheek and it's goofy humor, and you've got the adventure line with this wonderful piece of music. I do enjoy the Stanley Parable. I should look up to see if the extended version of that has been released yet. I know he was planning it, but I don't know if it actually got released. I need to check that up, because people who owned it before on Steam were supposed to just get a free copy of the upgraded version, so, you know, that might be fun to play at some point. I do know a lot of the endings, though, so, yeah, you know. Anyway, I will leave it here for today. I did say this wasn't going to be a full 3 hours. I said, the write-up said this game would take about an hour and a half to complete, but I stopped a lot, I talked a lot. I didn't faff around with or I did faff around with a lot of stuff. So I knew it was going to take me a bit longer than that. But I was fine with that. Yeah, a very, very interesting game, as I say. It's something that I recognize as in terms of real life friends and relationships. So I can 100% understand this whole scenario. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what other people's opinions are on this story, because obviously I've had the perspective where I've seen this sort of thing before, so I may have to go watch some other people's playthroughs now, because I know a lot of people have played it. So we'll see. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I do hope you have enjoyed this. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.